Hello and welcome to this webinar where we are going to talk about Intesis Maps, our software configuration tool. Today, myself, Pera Mindan, Product Manager at Intesis, will try to explain you a little bit about the configuration tool, as well as some of the best practices, tips and tricks about it. So let's start from the beginning. Basically, as you can see here on the welcome screen, we have basic information about the software, okay, as well as the version on top of the menu. And then on the left side, we have different options available. Okay, so just going back to this latest news and updates. So this welcome screen to create a new project from scratch, load the project that we have previously been working with, get the project from the device. That means importing the device and the project, from the device itself, update the gateway firmware, or import the project from a previous session recorded on a USB host. Then we have the list of recent projects for easiness of access, and also have the possibility to import some of the projects that we have been working with in our previous generations of gateways. So let's start from the beginning, creating a new project. Basically, here you have the option to select from one of the many templates that we have available for you. Okay, they work as examples, so you can find there already configured devices that may help you in order to determine how to use the tool. Okay, as you can see here, the list is quite long, but there is some tricks in order to shorten it or to make it more easy for access. The first one that we have is the option just to filter them by the BMS protocol. So clicking on the icon of each BMS protocol, we just filter the different projects that we have. Okay. Another option will be using the order code. Okay, so in case you know the order code of your gateway, you can easily type it here, and you will see that the results are automatically filtered. Also take into consideration the information we have in this table. So we have the name of the template, okay. We have which is the internal protocol or BMS protocol. We also have the device protocol or external protocol. And then we have also a description of this project. And finally, the order code, which can be used in order to use this protocol on which gateway. The second option that we have in this menu, okay, is to load a project that we already have. Okay, so basically, that means that you have been working previously on a project and then you decide to open it again and do some changes or download it again into another box or whatever you desire. Then you also have the option just to get the project from a device. So basically, if you have one box connected to your laptop, it doesn't matter if IP or USB, okay, you have the option just to click on it, okay, and get this project for you. Okay, remember that with IP connections, you need to know the password in order to import the project. Okay, that's for safety reasons, of course. On the other hand, if you are on a USB connection, as we suppose that these boxes are just installed in a restricted access area, we assume that password is not required. So in this case, you will not need anything to connect to the box. Then the fourth thing, is update the gateway firmware. So basically here you have the option just to connect and directly update the firmware if there's a new firmware available. Okay. In this case, what you have is the option with the import project from USB host is just to import a project that has been, let's say, recorded or stored with the USB format. Okay, remember that for some of our gateways, we have the option just to place a USB stick on it and get information from the box. Okay, so in case that we use this functionality, you need to go into this option in order to import this file or project. Then here you have the list of recent, as we were mentioning before. And last but not least, we also have the option just to import some of the projects that we have in our previous generations of gateways. Okay, so here you have a list in order to make sure that the project you want to import is supported. Okay, So let's move into some more detail. Okay, let's pick up one example, this one for instance. Okay. So this interface is common for all the projects. Okay, so you will see that you have a top menu, okay, where you can decide to create a new project, load project, save the project, save as, open project folder, import a USB host project, export as a USB host project, close it. You also have the option just to make some changes on the languages, to update the firmware. Okay, remember that to do that, okay, this is important, you need to be connected. Okay. Then you have the option just to change the layout for the diagnostic view. Later on, when we move to diagnostics, we will see it in more detail. And last, we have some help information, just the about, okay. And also the option just to check for updates, okay. In this case, software is already updated, so no problem about it. Then some other important information that we may find. So in the bottom, you will see that there is a red bar in this case, okay, because we are not connected. And we have the option just to connect, okay, directly here, from here to the gateway. We also have information about the BMS protocol, the device protocol, and also a timestamp, okay. Okay, regarding the different options we have, first of all, we have configuration options. Okay, so we have, let's say, the general, which implies configurations for the box itself, for the gateway. So we have the gateway name, we have a project description, we have information on how we configure the connection, okay, basically the IP connection. And we also have conversions and time configuration. This time configuration is a specific example for these standard cloud solutions. Okay, it's not available for all of them, but I would say that the rest of them, general configuration, connection, and conversions, it's present in all our gateways, I would say. Let's do some small break here and talk about conversions. Basically, the idea here is what we offer is the opportunity to provide some logic, some operations in your values. Okay, so in order that you need to transform some of the values that you get from your BMS or from your external device, no matter which direction, you can apply these logics or these these figures conversions. Okay, we have two types of actions. We have filters and we have operations. Okay, those here are already defined by default, so anyone getting maps will get these filters and operations already defined for them to be used in any project. But of course, you can create your own. Okay, so you can create here whatever you need. Okay, determine the type of operation, if it's a scale or arithmetic, and then apply the factors that you need to use. Okay, same way with the filters. Okay, so you can use whatever you need. Okay, they can be comparisons, not limited filters. Okay, great to done, different. I mean, with this you can create, I would say, almost any kind of conversion. Okay. Later on, we will see how we can configure that. Then we have the BMS protocol. So here, depending on the protocol, you will have different information. And then you have the device protocol here. Okay, so in this case, that was Modbus master. Okay, so basically that means that we want to integrate Modbus layer devices into standard cloud. Okay, then what we have signals, okay, which correspond basically to the type of signals that you want. So here you need to add, okay, the different signals that you want to create. And in this case, you can, okay, one by one, or if you want to select more than one, okay, so this option is also available and working just to make it easier for you. Okay. So basically here, the idea is just to try to make things simpler for you. Okay, and here you can determine, okay, which is the device that you want to import, and here you configure, you do all the configuration here. Okay, notice that you have some relevant information here as well, just such as the number of active signals and its limitation. You also have the possibility to hide, okay, the disabled signals, okay, in this case, but we have no devices, so that's why they hide all of them. Okay, later on we will see some real examples so you can see what's going on. Then you have the option just to add columns. So basically that means that if you don't need any of these columns for your project, okay, and you want to see it in a more compact view, okay, you can select which of them, okay, you want to include. It's important what I have been activating here right now, okay, which is conversions. So basically here the idea is to use the previous filters, okay, that we have been talking about before, okay, and operations. So on this side, okay, so this one here and this one here corresponds to filters, and the ones here corresponds to operations. Okay, so you can see the amount of combinations that you can have here. Okay, so I would say that basically you can do almost anything you need to. Okay, and another important thing that we have here is that before you save everything and you send it, you can check here if that works or not for you. Okay, so you mentioned that you want to limit from 0 to 100. Okay, so and you want to check it now here, so you can see, okay, what happens if I get a 123 value. Okay, this will limit, as the function says, okay, the value to 100. Yeah. Another option is not 0. What would happen? Okay, then if I send 123, I get the result is not 0. Okay, it's okay 1, it's not 0. Right? So basically here you can see that we can do almost anything we need to. Okay. Imagine now that you want to multiply that by 10. So basically they apply filters and operations, just one after the others. Okay. Okay. Going on, we can just here as well import the signals. Okay, depending on the protocols, we also offer the possibility just to import some KNX files or some BACnet ED files, stuff like that. Okay, and we also can export some of the information. Okay, something which is common in all those projects is that we can import and export the table. Here we have into Excel. So if you need something special to be done, or because you have, let's say, some already configured stuff in your Excel file just to make it easier and faster for you, you can use it and then import it here for your easiness. Here we have some help in order just to change the size of the characters, just to make it easier to read. And here we can move selected signals, okay, all around configuration. And here's how we add some more signals into a table. Okay, so if you know that we need some more, you don't need to go one by one. You can type here the number of signals and then you can add them all at once. Okay, and another important thing is the check table. Okay, which here what it performs, it checks that everything is okay and it's ready to be sent for configuration. Okay, something important. Okay, it will always ask you just to write the password. Okay. Okay, so here we have, okay, if there's something that goes wrong, here you will receive some messages about it. Okay, later on with a real example, we can see how this really works. Then the third option that we can see here is just for sending configuration. Okay, you see that now it's grayed out. It's because we are not connected. And we also have the option to receive the configuration. Okay. Then we have the diagnostics. And here what we can see is just a a console viewer, which basically will report information about the gateway. We have an internal viewer, which basically will report information about the BMS communication. Then we have the device viewer, which will report information about the external protocol or the device protocol. And here we have a signals viewer where you will see all the signals available that you have been configured and already just, let's say, downloaded to the gateway. Okay. And last but not least, there is a connection that we have been missing in the beginning, which was the connection tab. Okay. Basically here the idea is just to determine how we are going to communicate from maps to the gateway. So we have two options, using the IP connection, the Ethernet basic connection, or using the USB port. Okay, this is a console port that we have. Okay, in this case, in the IP, we have the option just automatically scan the network, and if you see one of the gateways, you can simply select it, double check that is the one you want to connect to, and click on connect. Okay. Okay, in this case, notice that our software, is capable of communicating with the gateway and also with our databases, and check if the gateway has the latest firmware. Okay, in this case, what we can see is that our gateway is not running on the latest firmware, and the software is asking us if we want to upload it. Okay, basically, this is something that we like to keep in mind. Okay, so you have also here, before you downloaded information about the different firmware changes, so a changelog of the different versions, so you can make it clear for you if it's worth downloading or not. Okay, we'll skip it right now. Okay, so now you see, as we are connected, now the color of the bar in the bottom has changed and has moved from red to blue, HMS blue. Okay, and now that means that we are connected. So now if we go to diagnostic, you will see that some information starts appearing here. Of course, as configuration is not have been downloaded, so it's not properly set, it's not working really well. Okay, so you cannot see right now communications here. So now we are going to disconnect. Okay, so and we are going to open a real project for you. Okay, we don't want to save the previous project. And now we will connect here. Okay, data. Okay. Let's focus basically on the diagnostics, because I think which is the most important part, okay, and maybe is the trickiest one, and the one that offers more interesting options. Okay. So first of all, remember we saw at the beginning where we have the option just to change the layout. Okay, this is the default layout. So basically here, what we can see is some of the menus of the options that we have on top of it. Okay, and then the different viewers. Okay. The idea here is just to offer a simple view, so all at a glance you can see all the relevant information. Okay, but if you prefer any other layout because it's of your taste, it will depend basically, I would say, depending on your taste, of course, and also the size of the screen and the number of signals you have and information you want to show. Okay, so let's start with the console viewer. Okay, so as I was mentioning before, this shows up information about the gateway basically. So you have, maybe it makes no sense for you, but in case we have any issue, this is relevant information for our technical team. Okay, here you have the option just to send some commands. Okay, so info basically what it's doing is asking for the same information that we have seen here right now. Okay, so you see that we have sent this request here and it answers. Okay, but it's capable of launching some predefined strings that our support teams know well, and they can help in troubleshooting in some very specific situations. Okay, Then we have here the same viewer, but for the BMS. Okay, in this case we have the options as well as here, just to clear it. Okay, so enable communications, okay, to enable or disable the auto scroll, and then we have also the option of debug. Okay, basically what does debug is just to parse some part of the information in order to make it simpler for everyone to see what's going on. And the same schema, okay, applies for the device protocol. Okay, so we can also clear that, enable comms. Okay, so that would be a Modbus, polling, frame information, and here you see that if we click on the debug, we get this information parsed. Okay, so we can see what's going on. Which is like we are asking for information, which functions, the address, and stuff like that. Okay, this is quite interesting if you want to do some troubleshooting, if there's something not going as expected, or even if you want to double check everything is okay. Another important thing related with that, okay, is that we have the option just to use filters. Okay, so if you right click on any of these viewers, okay, you will be able to define these filters. So basically the idea here is that we can just define some plain text filters, or if you know or you are familiar with regular expressions, you can use also regular expressions. But the idea is that the simplest way, if you are looking for a specific string that you know it's appearing, okay, and you want to give it a shot, okay, you can apply this filter. Okay, you can enable, remember to enable it, it's important. So what the viewer is going to do is just to filter all the telegrams or the messages that we are seeing that only contains this string. Okay, or the other thing you can do is, instead of filtering, because maybe you need to see some relevant information, maybe you only want it to highlight. Okay, so then you have a clear idea of what's going on, and the thing that you're looking for is specifically highlighted. Okay, great. Another important thing, okay, would be the special tools we have here. Okay, maybe this is one of the most important ones, okay, which is the hardware test. Basically, the hardware test, what it's offering, okay, is providing a test in order to determine if the hardware of the box or of the gateway is really going as expected, working well. Okay, so you can start all the tests one by one, or you can simply run them all at once. Okay, so this will help us in case there's anything not going as expected during commissioning. Okay, in order to make sure that the gateway is okay, it has not been damaged by anyone. Okay, so you can be 100% sure that everything is going well, and the problem is, let's say, on another place. Yeah, so maybe that would be on the configuration, on our configuration, or maybe the configuration of some of the BMS, sorry, or the external device. Okay, another option important here that we have is the log. Okay, so here the idea is that when you click on this option for logs enabled, what we are doing here, okay, is creating a folder that will be zipped with all the logs of the different viewers, so the console viewer, the BMS protocol viewer, and the device protocol viewer, and we will have all this information, okay, in a single folder, along with the project that will help our support team in order to determine what's going on. Okay, so the tool will ask you for some name for this file. Okay, change it. So now we got the project that's on the box, and now we are, as you can see, the different elements that we have been deactivating, now they are active again. Okay, and we see that the log icon is now red. Okay, so it means that we are recording. Okay, this is important because we need to, okay, once we finish now, okay, let's do some refresh, for instance. Okay, so we get some data from our devices, so we can make sure that everything was as expected, and then we disable the logs. Okay, so now all this information is in the zip folder, okay, and will be ready to be sent to our support team. Okay, and last but not least, this is a quick access, okay, just to use the same commands that we have for the console viewer. So we can ask for information about the gateway, or we can remotely reset the gateway. Okay, something that I mentioned before that I wanted to comment you with a real example. Okay, so we have here a configuration of one project of one of our customers. Okay, as an example, basically here the idea was just to show you these options. Okay, so imagine that you have been working, doing lots of configurations, but now you want to focus only on a part of it. So the ones that are not active, not important, not relevant for you, you can just hide them directly using this button here. And also you can just check what's going on. Okay, so here we have a warning, for instance, in this case. Okay, if you are okay with that, it's up to you, but at least you have the information. Okay, and after that, you know the project is correct. Okay, if you change something which is not expected, okay, we will get some messages just explaining which is this specific error that we are getting. Okay. Okay, so now if we want, just before we end, we can show you how we can update the firmware, because remember that we have decided not to update it at the moment that the software was acting, but we have also always the possibility just to update the firmware anytime. Okay, so what we can do now here is just go to tools, go to firmware update, check for update. Okay, you will see here the options, and now we can just download the firmware. So now we can send it to the gateway. So basically we'll see that this progress bar will appear, showing up the information when it's being transferred. Okay, and once the process is finished, okay, we need to wait for the box to reset, and then we can proceed as expected. Okay, now you will see that we are disconnected. Okay, this happens the same. Remember when we send the projects, okay, because the boxes after sending the configuration disconnects. As it is an IP device, okay, we need to manually click on the connect the stage. Okay, we need to wait sometimes. Okay, because maybe we are being too compulsive. Okay, here we are. And now we are connected back again. Okay, so if we go to diagnostics, you will see that communication is back again. With no problem. And everything, just like the hardware test and everything, just is properly working. Okay, so basically, as a summary, okay, that was a quick introduction, but I think that you could see some of the benefits of using our software. So we have the option just to select projects, okay, that have been already been configured for you, okay, that have already some of the information here for you available with some examples, okay, with the possibility just to troubleshoot and see what's going on also. And last but not least, I wanted to mention something important here as well, okay, which is that for most of our gateways, if possible by the external device, we have also the option just to scan it, okay, so that makes life simpler for you. So for instance, in the case of DALI, I don't know if you're familiar with that one. So basically it's a lining control solution. So here we have the option just to make all the DALI scanning, okay, all the DALI commissioning from the Intesis box directly, okay, so that helps a lot because you don't need to use several tools. And the same for some HVAC components that we have on gateways, which allow us the possibility just to do some scans, okay, so for instance, if we go to this one that corresponds for the Panasonic system, okay, we have the option just to manually do all the configuration, but we also have the option just to scan the system, okay, so this will also decrease our amount of time doing the configuration and will help a lot our integrators in order to get projects on time. Okay, so thanks for watching. And if you have any question or doubt, do not hesitate to contact us. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.